What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic video. What do we got looking at this week for market review for today, Monday, March 1st here again, beginning of the week, Monday, super excited. The bulls came in and gave a good 2, 3, 4, 5 punch, whatever, to the bears, knocked them out for a little bit. We'll see how that will look at. Again, looking at the agenda, what we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at a couple earnings announcements. We had Workhorse in the morning. We had NIO, Zoom, LMND, and Clover after the bell. At the same time, we're going to be looking at the overall market review in the sense of just looking at the QQQ, looking at some potential levels of resistance, and as well, we're going to be looking at the morning calls for Tuesday. You can see here we have Target. We're going to have Target C, I believe. So let's go ahead and just kind of jump into that. Again, we're going to talk about Workhorse, NIO, Zoom, LMND, Clover, and then tomorrow, pre-market, we're going to see C Limited, and then Target as well. So we'll be jumping into all that fun, exciting stuff via the charts there. And we talked about that market overview. And again, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. And I would greatly appreciate if you check out the affiliate links and at the same time, join our fantastic Discord, which is filled with wonderful, happy people. We have alpacas, we have a Canadian, we have a Ryan, we have a bear, we have all kinds of people. We have an Alan, all fantastic stuff. Just come on by and have a grand old time. So Workhorse, let's start with Workhorse first thing. I found this really interesting on the New York Times here, that the Workhorse electric truck maker, kind of reading through it. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. They lost the deal and now they're trying to veto it-ish, whatever, in Congress. This is the weird thing, which again, a lot of people don't know. They have a 10% stake in Lordstown, which is ticker symbol RIDE. That is basically whatever there. Workhorse has orders of 8,000 plus electric vans or delivery trucks. But big but they're struggling to ramp up production. That doesn't sound good. It has made 7 trucks in the fourth quarter. 7. That's a 7. God bless them. And the company hopes to increase production to 3 trucks a day by the end of this month. So they're doing things. They have capital. The CEO has said that they're going to be investing into this again. They have a nice book of business in the sense of being backlogged of those 8,000 trucks, and they can finally start investing in it on really building out the infrastructure to really ramp up production. Because again, we talk about this on a lot of the EV stuff where it is so difficult to get the logistics part up and running. So that's clearly what's happening here. I know Kathy Wood is a long-term investor in Workhorse, so yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and just peruse our way into the charts here. So looking here at the charts, Workhorse, of course, has kind of done lackluster since that really drastic move that we saw last week, basically from that 28, actually it was higher, it was like the 28-ish range, yeah, $28, $27 range, all the way down to basically 15 and change. It's kind of been bouncing around at these levels here, trying to kind of get some kind of life going here. With earnings as well, didn't take it too much lower because again, the cat was out of the bag, the genie was out of the bottle, whatever kind of metaphor you want to put in front of it, that we're seeing that kind of consolidate here. On the longer term side, on the daily chart here, we are seeing some consolidation around that $17 range, which again is a Fibonacci number. A lot of volume comes in here. Is it over? Is the pain over? Is the bleeding over? Perhaps. But if we get some more substantial issues on the production lines and other various things that could sink it lower substantially to below 14 and really breaking that low base that we saw initially. Because again, this thing has been a pretty significant run on the way down, basically from that $42 range. Looking for potentially winning some other contracts once President Biden lays out some of the more detailed infrastructure bills that they're trying to pass that could be within the trillions, and really just transitioning on the commercial side to the EV market being more environmental friendly. So that one is done. Cross that off the list. Next one, we're talking about more EVs. We're going to be talking about, let's kind of jump to a different continent. We're going to jump to Asia, aka China. This is again the NIO here. It is slightly trading lower here as well, due to missing on expectations. So it's a little bit worse than they thought on the initial earnings and then ramping up production, looking to potentially get out about 20,000 cars to 20,500 cars this quarter. Which is somewhat in line to what people guesstimated. As you can see here, it is coming down to, again, that $47-ish range, 47.80, which is a Fibonacci number. If this does not hold, we can easily see it back down to 45.60. On the longer term chart, looking at the daily side, that 47.80 is pretty substantial because that is the 89 EMA here on the daily chart. But if that breaks, again, that 45 to 42 could be those levels of support on the way down. On the same note, if the earnings call happens and things are more animated, more positive swinging, the upward potentially is just trying to break above 50. $50 is basically that range we want to see it potentially try to break to kind of create a more of a bullish thesis there. So that's NIO. And speaking of a company that's killing it, Zoom. Like, yeah, did you see Zoom? Like, holy moly guacamole. They did absolutely fantastic here. Look at this move higher here. Basically crawling up all day today, basically opening up around, what is that, like 380-ish, 390, and then just took off here, trading in after hours around $442. So, ooh, give them kudos to that. Give them a nice little high five. That is, people bought the Hello Kitty out of that. We're just going to give them a little, those bulls are raging over there at the Zoom. With that being said, we can look at here some of the earnings stuff. The earnings roared to nearly $1 billion. Okay, that's a huge earnings in 2020, and the stock is rising again. The Zoom Communication earns top earnings across the board. Of course, we have multiple different companies that are reporting this week. Again, we have Snow as well, like we highlighted, and we'll be doing that breakdown on that next video. So with the particular levels that we could see with Zoom going through here, that 459, 460 is a pretty substantial level here coming here on the daily chart. We've seen that kind of potentially play out. The more stronger level that we're going to potentially look at for some overhead resistance is going to be coming in around 490. So 490 is we've seen it kind of fail here twice here, basically once here and then twice here. Basically into earnings, it ramps up and then kind of comes back down for whatever reasons. Once the earning call happens, we don't know. Again, earnings is a coin flip. A coin flip meaning it's heads and tails. Depending on how the market is received, as of right now, the market's pretty giddy about it. Once we start hearing the earnings call, they could be like, oh, actually, guidance is blah, 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 blah. And then everyone just gets crazy upset. And then the market goes, okay, I'm not going to speculate where it's going to be in the morning. But if the stock does want to continue to rise, 490 is going to be a very significant level to try to break. In the short term, that 430 is a pretty significant range there. So 430 to 460 potentially could get some chop there depending on how the overall market goes for Zoom. And then Lemonade. Lemonade is also one that reported today here, kind of coming slightly lower. This has a lot of open shorts on it, basically a high short interest on this one. Initially speaking, I haven't seen anything quite announced here via the Thinkorswim here. It does not identify here. It has not said the notable earnings coming here. This still says it's scheduled for March 1st. So it is March 1st. We're just kind of waiting. It looks like they're going to be taking their dandy old time over there. With that being said, we're seeing the potentially 128 range to hold. It does have weekly options, so the weekly move is around $17. So that's what the option makers are projecting to see. So it doesn't mean it has to be within that 17 plus or minus, but looking for this, if this does want to come back and we get a boost higher on earnings, that 140 is going to be a pretty significant range to try to break above. And again, that consolidation from between to 140 to 150, you see a lot of choppy pattern coming here on the daily chart. To the downward side, in the short term, the 89 EMA, so around 117 to 110, could be potential levels of support if we do get a pretty substantial pullback within the Lemonade. And then this last one that we're going to be doing that was reporting for today is Clover. Clover. Of course, Clover This is the company that was IPOC. I always get the two mixed up, but it's Chamath Palmatiles. There was a very bearish short report on it, basically around it's like when it was trading around $14. Ever since then, it's been on a very a distinctive downhill ski slope here, and just an avalanche, and just the bears just dancing all over this stock here, just continuously bringing it down here. Had a little bit of a pull here around $9, getting a little pop here. And after hours trading, it is up just very slightly. We're talking like 20 cents here. You can kind of see that little notification here on the hourly chart. On this one speaking, we're really looking to try to get this back above the 200 EMA, and that's also a fib number around $11.66. Everything under that is just noise and chop, and really just kind of like a choppy trend. It's trying to break out of this because, again, like we're talking like it's been 2 weeks of almost the whole month of February. It's just been crashing lower, and really would like to see this kind of level off here. Maybe not a dead cat bounce. That dead cat bounce would need to be back above 1166. So that's basically what we're looking at for that one. At the same note, we want to look at Target. So Target is coming out for tomorrow for earnings. Again, this one, the expected move for the week is around $11. So again, that's the market makers moving, saying that the plus or minus on these options for the week, we're looking for about $11 move potentially. That doesn't mean it has to happen though, okay? I want to make that very clear that people don't quite understand that. So kind of trading around, let's say 186 here basically. If we do pop higher, we're going to be looking for some short-term resistance around 192 to 193 here. You can kind of see these candles have kind of failed here slightly. And then to the downward side, we're just actually going to point right directly to the 89 EMA here. I don't know why this hasn't moved yet. I moved this one on the Sunday live stream to around $177. So we could see that support coming through. Looking on the same note, Walmart just had earnings, I believe, last week or the week before. They kind of disappointed, and they with guidance, I believe, and they were kind of significantly coming down there as well. So Target, definitely one to watch for. I think a slightly better company run in the sense of more of a pleasurable place to go to than a Walmart at times, depending on what state you're in. Another one that's going to be reporting is C Limited. SE. So C Limited is going to be like the Asian Shopify kind of system, helping people merchandise and build sites and then be able to sell to direct consumer products. This one, very interesting. Again, this Target and C Limited both report tomorrow morning. As you can see here, they are reporting before the bell tomorrow. So they're not reporting tonight, it's tomorrow morning. As of this one here, this also has daily or weekly options. So we're looking for a move potentially around $23 plus or minus. Initially speaking, this one looks pretty straightforward here. Earnings has been a little bit of choppy for this one, a couple times gapping up just ever so slightly. This one just continuously look at this beautiful trend here. It's just been holding this beautiful line continuously, coming down to the red line, aka the 50 SMA, maybe a couple times here, but this is a beautiful looking chart here. Initially speaking, if we do get a pullback in this sucker, that one, 226 to $225, that might be a great buying opportunity, unless they say something astronomically terrible, that they have to shut down their business, whatever. You can just insert blank bad news. In that note, or in that light, that would be a great little potential buying opportunities, looking at the previous trend that we've seen, very significant support around the 50 SMA. At the same time, we do have the falling parabolic SAR dots. So if we want to break higher, we need to break above the 265 to kind of get that momentum to push higher from those levels. So that is basically that. We're looking at that. So the next segment we're going to be looking at is going to be the full over market review. So we're going to be looking at particularly the NASDAQ and looking at support and resistance levels that we could see here on the daily chart. And then we're going to be kind of jumping into the hourly chart as well, because again, we have some notable things happening this week. We have the non-farm payroll coming out on Friday. So that Friday report is actually pretty significant, highlighting if we do have less unemployment with, again, the non-farm payroll report, that potentially could be a catalyst on showing and kind of pinching or twisting the Fed to raise interest rates faster than they would like because the economy is getting stronger. So if you don't understand the basic stuff of rates, economy, and growth, basically the reason the rates are low is because so it can create growth. But we're seeing significant signs of growth within certain sections of the market. Of course, with the virus, it has kind of put a damper on a lot of the more facing retailing stuff on like the malls. Of course, travel has been hit substantially, and other of those like various spending of things. But multiple reports have said that overall savings within the United States is up around 21%. So the average American has 21% of more savings. Again, that number is normally around 5 or 6%. So a lot of potential consumers have a lot of moolah, and they potentially want to spend it. So some people are a little bit better off than others. So looking here at the QQQ, we're seeing here, again, that's the NASDAQ here. We came up to potentially that 21 EMA. So we want to see it potentially try to break above that 325 and actually stay above it. So this is the little caveat that we need to see here. This is still chop. This is not like, hey, last week everything's over, let's just get back on the train and chugga choo to profits and just stocks just only go up. This is the kind of like a wake-up call for a lot of people, because again, depending on what camp you're in, if you're really going to believe that interest rates are going to be going up so fast and there was a rotation in the market, you clearly saw a lot of people taking profits and taking money out of growth stocks and putting it into other things. Like if you saw Apple today, holy moly guacamole, this thing took off today. Look at this thing. Like this thing was up 5.39% here, and really making a pretty strong recovery here as well. On that note, but it has earnings though. So a lot of companies that really got cut have a lot of hopes and dreams of potentially making a profit. A lot of them are very early stage in the sense of just like spending on R&D, spending on infrastructure, whatever their the purpose is, and trying to ramp up to kind of capture the market. With QQQ, some price targets, again, we would need to see it above 325 and close above 325. I would love for the QQQ for this week to close above 325. I don't ask much of the trading wizards of the triple Qs here. That would be a very nice, pretty significant bullish sign here. If I can get my little buy here, if they can get that running up and get that bull going here to that 325, and we can really get our chest bumpings on that kind of news. At the same note, if we do not see that, we could be buckling up for a potential pullback. And again, with this choppy market here, you're seeing in the last week here, we really haven't gone anywhere. We're just kind of pitulating up and down here. So if we do not close above 325 or even the 320-ish level, we could see it come back down to potentially test 315. And even test 320 here in the short term if we do get some more of those bears coming in to try to paw swipe us in the bulls in the face. But with that being said, be very careful, be very mindful on what you're doing out there, know what you own, and just please don't hit that panic sell button just because everyone else is doing it. That's why it's so important to know what you own, have the high conviction trades available, and just if you're bored and just throw cash at a stock, like that's a terrible thing to do, to be quite honest with you. I've done it. I've done it last week and I got burnt multiple times. It's just not a good habit to have. It's just having a trading plan. When you execute a trade, have a place to get out on. If it's a good, bad, or entry, you have targets to potentially take profits for 1 and 2, and then of course the escape plan if it does break your stop loss or the various components of not taking a large cut. Like, don't sit in a stock that's down 40-50% and you're just hoping for it to come back and you're bought it way up there. But anyways, I can talk about stocks forever. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in for this fantastic market review for Monday, March 3rd. Again, I am Ken, the Dyslexic Investor. Please definitely check out the Discord link down below and the affiliate links as well. I greatly appreciate the support going forth there. And I hopefully will see you on the next video or in the Discord, or even a live stream, right? We like to do live stream once or twice a week here. So normally on Sundays, we do it around 9:30 on Eastern Standard Time. All right. On that note, I'm going to wrap up this video. You guys have a blessed evening, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.